Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alamanic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is freeing ourselves from toxic male energies. And basically, for the past 2-3 days, I've been dealing with lack energies again that I know I've absorbed from someone. And then I was dealing with some, how do I best put this? Invasive staring from some men. So I'm going to call that invasive male superior energies or something like that. I'm not sure how to best word it. But basically, the sense I was getting was this male entitlement that still exists much more in some cultures than in others, where women are still not equal in some parts around the world. And sometimes when people move to a Western culture or country, they don't necessarily adjust their behavior accordingly, or it takes them quite a while, right? So I was dealing with one of those today and with one of those yesterday. And in both cases, they just kept staring. And at first, I did the usual ignoring them. And with the first one, he made a quick, seemingly harmless comment. I knew what the intention behind it was, but at the same time, I responded very briefly to the words that he had spoken. And that didn't stop it. And then what I was picking up was ready. So as I was walking out and he was still staring, I was like, that's it. I have to speak up, right? So I told him that he should stop staring. I feel very uncomfortable and it's rude and disrespectful. And with this, and then he stopped. Then he finally looked away. But it was minutes and minutes and minutes before then, right? So it was really invasive. And the one today, what I actually spoke up sooner, and I've had that happen before. He's like, "Oh, no English, no English," and I basically made sign language of eye contact, right? When you kind of show that pointing at your eyes and the other person's eyes. And I said, "Not nice, no respect." And I'm quite certain that the message was clear because he then looked away. So, and it's actually interesting because it's the second time that someone used the lack of language as an excuse. I felt very strongly that he knew the first time what I was saying, or enough. He got the message enough to know that I wasn't okay, right? But in both cases, I picked up that male sense of superiority of having been in power and control over women for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And just that sense of we're the gender of, how do I put this? We're the ones in control. We're the ones in power. And we expect the other person to modestly look away or accept it. And basically, what I was taught, what I was guided to actually a long time ago was that power and control is established through eye contact. So for example, the first time it clicked, over 20 years ago, I was watching a Bollywood movie, and the way hierarchy was established, and that was really just between the upper class and a low working class person. It may have been one of those untouchables. I don't remember because the movie was a long time ago. But what was very clear was that the person in an inferior role had to look away and the other person was pretty much staring at them, right? And when you look at history, for example, slaves were not allowed to look at their slave masters and so on, right? So throughout history, those that were suppressed were not allowed to maintain eye contact with a person in a higher position, right? And that is all part of the toxic masculine or male energies. Now, the thing is, everyone has masculine and feminine energies in them, and someone can have partially toxic, partially divine male or masculine energies, and partially toxic and partially divine feminine energies. It can all be in one person, but this healing shall really be to eliminate those toxic male energies. And then I was actually dealing with several drivers today who acted very entitled. And it was basically, there were situations where cars parked on one side of the street and then there was enough room for traffic in both directions to get by, but only if, like, on both sides people drove like relatively close to the edge or the outside, right? And it was 3 times that someone came towards me right smack in the center. And at the last moment, they moved over just enough that I could pretty much just squeeze through. And my car is small and like more narrow than most cars, right? So each time I honked, because at least those of you who have been watching for a while, you know that when your space is being invaded, or there are invasive energies, or like bullying type of energies, or anything like that, it's important to speak up or somehow signal or let the other person know that you're not okay with what they're doing. Even if, they keep driving and all you're doing is honking the horn, but you are letting them know, like, hey, what you're doing is not okay, right? Because especially if you're sensitive to energetic invasions, if you don't do anything and you're just like, oh, well, I'll just move over to the side, then you can be invaded. And those energies weren't able to invade me. And then earlier this evening, I was sitting there, just, preparing my dinner, and I had energies try to invade my third eye, which is why I felt it was more urgent than I realized to actually do a cord cutting again and portal closing. But I actually feel guided to not cut, but actually burn the cord this time. But same effect, right? But to just cleanly burn it off. Fire is a very great cleansing spirit, or, spirit guide. It's a great power that has a lot of healing and cleansing and clearing away energies. So I feel like we need to use the fire. So anyhow, sorry about the long intro here. There is a little bit more as well. When looking at someone, they may look great from the outside or on the outside. And by that, I also mean the surface, like the surface behavior and all of that may seem great and proper and whatever. But on the inside, it might be a different story. And I just bought this red pepper and it looked fine on the outside. See, it's okay. And then when I cut it open, it's actually moldy inside. And what I felt this represented right away is like the toxicity, like toxic, right? So mold is kind of like a fungus that spreads, and it's the same thing with this toxic energy. If we allow it to fester, it takes over and spreads, right? So I should almost put bleach, but I actually want to eat what's still good, so I will just cut this out. But yeah, I may feel guided to do additional things later on, but for now, this is how I feel it needs to be done, to simply cut this out, and the rest can be okay, but all the toxic stuff will be removed, right? So that's the main idea. And I did feel guided to put the singing bowl in here, or the sound bowl, singing bowl, sorry. And that's for the second chakra. And a lot of times that is for those male-female connections, for those relationship stuff, and so on. And a lot of those toxic relationship dynamics go back to childhood, what we've absorbed from our parents and they've absorbed from their parents, and so on, right? So again, it's like intergenerational toxic patterns that get passed down from generation to generation. And even though many of us, especially in Western countries and cultures, are at a point where we feel everyone's equal, even if on a conscious level we feel that, there may be toxic stuff underneath the surface, suppressed patterns that we may not even be aware of. And I'll give you an example of that. So basically, the way I was raised in Germany, I felt completely equal. And even though my mother was a stay-at-home mom until I was in grade 3, and then she started working part-time, she never actually started working full-time. So there was some inequality, but other than that, and other than her worrying more about my safety than my brother's, I felt equal, right? And then after I moved to Canada, I felt there was more inequality here still. Whereas, for example, when I went to the hardware store and I wanted, or actually the lumber yard at that point, and I wanted to buy a measuring tape, the guy there gave me a really crappy, excuse my language, a crappy plastic one. And he said, oh, for your purposes, that's going to be good enough. And that is completely condescending and sexist, right? And I was really infuriated. And the thing is, when we get angry, that is unhealed trauma that gets triggered. So where did that come from, right? Like, why did I feel triggered? And then in my years of teaching adult ESL, it didn't happen very often, but once in a while I had a very sort of macho, sexist man in the classroom. Again, it didn't happen very often, but when I did, I remember just feeling really resentful towards his behavior and comments, no matter how minute they may have seemed. But I, as an empath, I could feel it very strongly, right? So when we feel enraged, it's because there's something unhealed. Because, for example, if someone says, you're purple, and I know I'm not purple, then why would I get angry or upset? I just think, well, this person's crazy, man. Why would they say that, right? It's because I don't have an issue with that. There is no existing trauma in that example, right? So there's a lot of underlying stuff that's coming to the surface now. Some of it also from the collective. And those of us who are empaths, we may have also absorbed it from the collective. But the thing is, the moment it's in our energy field and we're dealing with those energies, it's our responsibility to transmute it and release it, right? Like heal it. and return it to the universe in a healed and transmuted form, right? So anyway, sorry for the long intro, but let's get started and deal with more of these toxic energies that need to be removed and released and so on, right? Okay. Oh, and look at this. I just lit the candle before I started filming, and there's this big blob of black. And the angle I'm looking from kind of looks like a dark butterfly. It's almost like a dark transition, because a butterfly is a symbol of transition, right? Here, I don't know if you can see it enough. Let me see if I can move it up. But sometimes, you know, when stuff gets moved, it changes. So let me see if you can still see it like this. Okay, yeah, I think it's kind of clear enough, right? You can kind of see the butterfly shape in there. So it's like dark transition. Wow. Okay, so let's get started with the smudging and then do the ceremony, calling our spirit guides and so on. Hold on. Please cleanse, clear, and renew all of our energies. And take away anything dark, low vibrational, unhealed, and oh yeah, any of those toxic, invasive energies that are trying to suppress our voice and our power, like our personal power. Anyone who wants to take that personal control away from us, let all of that be taken away and removed, transmuted into pure divine love light energy, and returned to the universe for reintegration. And let us be reconnected to our own inner divinity as well as that all around us, and through that be in oneness again with all of creation. Oops, sorry. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. All right, dear Creator. Oh, sorry, that was the old way I did it. Dear divine power of the universe, our higher selves, our higher spirit guides of the light, our ancestors that are in the light, dear Mother Earth, powers of all four directions. Yeah, Mother Earth also has not been able to be in her power because she was mistreated. Sorry, just had to mention that. Powers of all four directions, powers of the east, powers of the south, powers of the west, powers of the north, powers of all four elements, air, earth, fire, and water, and all other benevolent powers, forces, spirits, and beings of the universe that are of the light. Please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, and protection with all of your powers. Thank you. Please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. Ooh. So they want me to clear a whole bunch of energies right away. Oh. Thank you, Great Spirit of the Eagle, for helping us with this. Oh. Gone out. All these dark, low vibrational, unhealed interference energies must leave now. You're no longer welcome here. You must go in peace, but go into the light. And so it is. Thank you. Dankeschön, all my relations. Ooh. Oh, give me a second. I kind of just had quite the energy shiver. Yeah, and it was our ancestors too that really helped us with this. I felt like the bone just spoke to me there. Like, yeah, it was us helping you. So let's clear the energies a little more also with sound. Okay, let any and all portals and gateways to those dark, toxic male or masculine, toxic masculine energies now and forever be cut, severed, and removed, and all portals be removed by having every connection released, opened, and let all of that be reintegrated into the universal energies, and let those energies simply flow again normally and peacefully all around us. Oh. And let any and all cords, bonds, shackles, chains, leashes, vows, soul contracts, and any and all other toxic and karmic connections between us and those horribly persistent toxic masculine energies now and forever be burnt away. Let those connections be just burnt all the way through, done, finished, and removed. And the rest I shall cut, one moment, into tiny little bits. And those energies, I'll put this in the next fire. Those energies shall be transmuted and returned to the universe for reintegration. And so it is, all my relations. And any and all dark, toxic, masculine energies. Oh, that's also for the divine feminine energies. This is like a womb, and we're cutting those toxic masculine influences of those energies out. Now, if you're male viewers, then it's more symbolic that the toxic masculine energies in your energy field and in your life shall no longer be blocking and stopping and limiting and controlling your divine masculine as well as the divine feminine energies. And through that, also any toxic feminine energies that resulted from this toxic masculine invasion. Oh my God, and what just popped into my head as well is things like rape and assault and things like that, where a lot of it is not even just sexual attention, but a lot of sexual and inappropriate interactions and behaviors towards women that have been tolerated for many, many years. And in many cultures, rape victims were actually shamed and blamed for what happened to them, right? So the typical, whoops, it fell right onto the floor. Look at that. I'll clean it up after, but I just want to make sure that all this stuff is out. And I'm going to actually flush that stuff right down the toilet so that it's out of my space right away. let me just get all of this out. I do want to keep the vessel intact, although I will eat it eventually. But for the purpose of this video, it shall stay intact. And once I actually eat it, it shall help continue and finish the healing process by properly digesting all the stuff that happened and that was now removed or is now being removed. Okay, let me make sure I got all of it. Looks pretty clean. I want to get all the seeds out as well because these are toxic seeds. We don't want any of that stuff stuck in there. Okay, I think I got it all. There's a tiny bit here. Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, I just scraped it out. Okay, here we go. All right. A little bit more here. I think I got it. Yes, and here we go. Oh, a little bit more here. Just a tiny bit. Just scraping it away because it's not even deep enough that I really want to cut in. But I don't want to leave anything. Oh, it's getting messy. It's okay. All right. No, that's good. Okay, let's check. It's all good. Oh, maybe a little bit more here. Okay, I got it all. Oh my gosh, and it's so much the womb now when you look at this, right? So this is like from the top down, right? So for all the viewers that have a female womb, all of us, we shall receive a special healing from the divine with the assistance of the great spirit of the fire. And I'm going to briefly hold it over this, but I won't actually be able to keep it there, right? But just the fire shall bring the divine healing of love and light into the womb space and fully and completely transmute any remaining leftovers of this toxic energy that was removed. And we shall heal from any and all toxic masculine or toxic male effects on our womb space. And the womb is also the space of creation. So that's how it also applies to male viewers or those that don't have a womb, right? A physical womb in their body. But the spiritual womb would be like your center of creation. So in everyone, in all the viewers of this video, your center of creation shall be healed, and the removal of these toxic masculine energies that have been blocking also the divine masculine energies as well as the divine feminine energies and have been keeping the feminine energies in weakness and suppressed. Now the divine feminine energies can rise and start creating. So basically that means that we can now step into, sorry, I just noticed that our element candle went out and I feel strongly that that needs to burn. So let me try this again. So now we can start creating, and that's basically anything that your soul, your spirit is telling you very strongly that you should be doing because you feel very strongly guided to it. Then that's what is now being freed up. You know what? I'm going to put this right on top of it because the other one still has liquid wax in it. And we're actually going to just pop the light right on top of what was suppressed. Ha! There you go. Okay. So with our internal flame being relit and reactivated, our center of creation, our second chakra, shall now be healed and recover, which is also, interestingly enough, this one. So So part of those toxic energies that have been blocking our second chakra has been stopping us from fully expressing ourselves creatively and from believing in ourselves, from stepping into our soul mission, from following our passions, dreams, and goals in life. So let's say, for example, if you listen to certain music and you feel so inspired that you want to learn a certain instrument, and instead of starting to take lessons to learn it, you just convince yourself that no, I can't, I don't have time, I don't have money, or whatever the reasons may be. That's the toxic kind of stuff that we've now removed, right? So that all those things that were blocking you are no longer there. So be free to express yourselves in all the ways in which you feel inspired and guided to, things that you feel enthusiastic about, that grip you on a soul level, where you feel like nothing in life has excited you this much for maybe years, right? And suddenly you feel so strongly drawn to something. Do that. Follow those messages from your soul, from your higher self, and live it. The more you do, the more in harmony with yourself, with yourselves you are, and the more healed you are, right? Okay, thank you everyone. If anyone would like to stay in these energies a bit longer, please pause the video. For the rest of us, let the ceremony now be finished. Let the circle of protection be opened, and please, our spirit team, the divine team, accept our love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings, and keep us strongly safe, shielded, and protected. And so it is. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations, all our relations. And so it is. All right, everyone, thank you so, so much for watching, for being a part of the ceremony, for being on your own healing and ascension journey, as well as being a part of mine through these videos. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And I'm also sending you tons of love, light, and blessings. Be well until next time, and I wish you great abundance, and may the truth always be with you. May you have true authenticity in your lives in all aspects and on all levels. Bye.